Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dan Hussey with Zaner Ag Hedge, bringing you a strategy of the day update here. Wanted to take a look at corn and beans and the weakness we're seeing here ahead of our quarterly grain stocks report coming out this Friday. 2 weeks from then, or I guess it is 2 weeks from that Friday. On October 12th, we'll be getting I believe it's Friday, October 12th. Anyway, maybe it's not a Friday. Anyway, October 12th is our next WASDE report. So we'll be seeing markets trade out these numbers into and through those figures through the next couple of weeks. So let's begin today with a daily chart of corn. Close the day here at 667.5 in that daily, or on the December contract for corn, taking the daily RSA down into oversold territory. We failed to break back above that 18-day moving average here for 2 days in a row. That was resistance up there at 678. That's a pretty bearish development on the short-term technicals. Short-term technical support, this upward sloping trend line for the channel support or trend line support here at 660 to 670 is also holding, as is that 100-day moving average, which we've broke above there earlier this month and are still holding above with support at 665 at this time. 200-day moving average is down below us at 644 with a 55-day below that at 637. Breaking below this area of inflection on the chart would open the door, I think, in my opinion, to a test of 640, maybe even below that in the near term. So we'll see what becomes of December corn on this from this daily chart. But we'll look at the 4-hour time frame here in just a second. Remember, trading futures involves risk. It is not suitable for all investors, and everything I talk about here today is just my own opinion and not a direct trade recommendation. So on that 4-hour chart for corn, we've got an open gap still down at 628, and that's also a 50% retracement that we looked at in last week's strategy of the week update from that 560 low up to the $7 high. In the near term, this 666 to 670 area is a 50% inflection zone, as well as trendline support that we talked about. It's still holding, but we have a multi-day downtrend kind of intact with today's inside price action. Not giving us much to chew on, but there might be indicators and a canary in the coal mine in the bean market that we'll look at in just a minute for why and how corn could continue lower. We did break below this upward sloping trend line that was holding since the start of September. We broke below it here yesterday and into today. We held it again as resistance. So if we do break lower towards 660, we'll start to constitute a break of a trend line, a break of a 50% fib, and we'll start to draw up those 50% shorts off the highs, expecting, resistance at that time. Just guessing would probably be around the 670 area, but we'll see. We don't really know as of right now. Okay, November beans also closing, down on the day. Well, actually closed down on the day, but corn still was positive. Beans closing down 3 1/4 cents there in the November beans, down at 14.08 into the close, pretty much at lows of the day for that contract. Not a great look. It was an outside day to the downside as well, with negative RSI or bearish RSI, I should say. It was it's almost zero print on that RSI. It doesn't really go negative, but for all intents and purposes, we go any lower on this chart, I guess it would be, wouldn't it, on that daily RSI. Okay, so that 18-day moving average on the beans also holding as resistance again here for the last 2 days once we broke back below it here at 1434. So seeing that technical development on both corn and November beans, not a great look for these charts in the near term. On the short-term technicals, kind of turning more bearish. Beans are now putting pressure on an upward sloping trend line against the lows here from the start of August. A break below 14 kind of negates that and would very likely take us down towards the open gap that we still have at 1346. We'll look at that in a minute. And just as a core reminder, soybeans have really just been in a big old range with the 200-day moving average right in the middle of that range right now at 1425. So taking a look at the 4-hour chart for November soybeans, coming off of the highs here, we've had some pretty choppy price action. Failure to break back above downward sloping trend lines on this chart, right? Failure to break above that $15 figure, failure to break up towards that open gap and a retracement back into the range left us with really a market now testing the lower end of its recent range. Upward sloping trend lines here since the start of August into that $14 area I mentioned. And have a downside open gap of 1349 that, in my opinion, is threatened Now that if we break below $14, there's not much in the way of support on this chart until we get down towards that area, in my opinion. And I think things could get rather negative here if we see this, these outside negative forces like the S&P and crude oil continue lower. Both corn and beans are going to be hard pressed, I think, to rally in a time of the year when we usually and seasonally expect, right, that harvest pressure to mount. Now, we do have a big grain stock number coming out this Friday. I don't know what the USDA is going to, use their eraser on and change to, make things super bullish or bearish here. But what I do know is that we're caught in ranges that we're threatening the downside of. And if we do break lower for both corn and beans in the new crop contracts, we could be threatening a larger technical breakdown. And that's something we'll be covering the rest of this week and into this Thursday Strategy of the Week webinar. If you haven't done so already, feel free to sign up for the link to get into that webinar and get the recording of it sent to you every Thursday at 2 p.m. Central when I host that webinar live. You can, of course, get that information and get that sign-up link here in the comment section in the information section of this video here today. I can always be reached over here at Zaner at 312-277-0110. Shoot me a message on Twitter or on Facebook, or shoot me an email at dhussey@zaner.com. Always look forward to hearing from you guys and discussing market price action with you. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll be back with you as price action develops. Take care, everyone.